Super Mario Bros. Wonder is filled with all kinds of secrets, Easter eggs, and myths. But which ones are true and which ones are false? Well, today we will look into 15 of them to find out. For example, do certain one-up tricks really work? Can Drill Mario pop a Hoppo like a balloon? And can the Condart enemy pop a power-up balloon? Well, let's find out. Number 15. As expected, Nintendo added a number of new power-ups to the game. It's almost mandatory for them after all. And one of those is the Bubble Flower. And what it does is quite simple. You can now shoot bubbles. But aside from these being super useful against enemies, who will panic like crazy as soon as they see these bubbles flying at them, these things can also be used as some sort of platforms. Because when you jump on them, they give you a bit of a boost. But this can only be done once because they pop. But according to this YouTube commenter, you can basically fly with this power-up by running at full speed. All you need to do is run, blow a bubble, jump on said bubble, and then blow another one right before bouncing. But does this really work? And is there any limit to it at all? Well, I gave it a shot to find out. Now, as you can see, this does work, and it can even be used to break certain levels, just like the badges can. But there is a limit to it all. At the top of levels, there's some sort of invisible wall that will stop you. So yeah, you don't turn into a god or anything, but you can use it to almost fly. So really, it can break a lot of levels, but it does require some practice to pull off well. But this does show that the claim is real. Number 14. One thing I found surprising after this new 2D title is that it's filled to the brim with new enemies, and a lot of these are unlike any we have seen before in the franchise, and the Shova is a good example. This enemy slowly pushes objects such as pipes and boxes forward with their large gloved hands, and in the game you end up in a lot of pushing battles, or you just kill them, that also works. Now in the previous video we also looked at these guys, and now we are going to test another thing, because the same commenter as before also said that you can't beat a Shova while holding a shell or anything else in your hands. But is this true? Well, I went into a Shova-filled level and gave it a shot, but as you can see here, things didn't go so well. Even though I am Elephant Mario, who would normally win this battle easily, I was unable to win this time. He clearly does his best, but couldn't claim victory. But once I got rid of the shell, I was able to win. So yeah, this claim is true, but I have no idea why Nintendo did this. It's a bit, odd. Number 13. One thing Nintendo always puts a lot of energy in is the music of the games, and in Wonder we saw this as well. They added a bunch of new music, entire musical levels, little sound effects for almost any action, and so much more. And according to Christian from the comment section, the music changes when you obtain the elephant power-up. Apparently a cello is added to the music. But is this really in the game? Well, I went into the very first level and grabbed one to find out. And yeah, it's a thing. Just listen to this.
Whoa, Zowie! That Goomba looks so serene.
Now this clearly shows how much Nintendo cared about little details like this, and personally, I love it! And clearly, this claim is true. Number 12. As mentioned before, Nintendo focused a lot on the sound design of this game, and animations as well, which I covered in my video about the game's cut content. And out of all the levels in the game, I would say that Knucklefest Bowser's Blazing Beats is a good example of this stuff. Music is key in this level, and without audio, it is almost impossible to finish. Well, that's at least what I noticed when I tried this. But we are going to talk about one little detail you can see in this level: the pose you strike during the Wonder segment. Because according to Lil Harm from the comment section, the pose you do is different depending on the number of players in the level. So I decided to test this, and after messing around in the game myself, as well as looking at footage online, I can see that this is a thing, sort of. If you look at the footage, you can see that characters pose based on their form. For example, the elephant has a different pose compared to the others who don't have a power-up. So it seems like the number of people don't matter as much, but the form you're in does. So I would say that this claim isn't really true. Number 11. While this is a 2D game, it is clear that the team was also inspired by the 3D titles, and one of those was Super Mario Odyssey, which you can clearly see. There are multiple wonder effects after all that turn you into different enemies seen in the game, like the Wubba. But someone in my comment section said that even when you turn into this goopy monster, you can do classic Mario moves like the ground pound. And so I went into a level where this wonder effect is seen to test it out, and to my surprise, it really works, even though it doesn't really make sense why this creature can do a ground pound. In general, it looks a bit, odd. However, all of this does mean that it's real. No matter what form you're in, the main characters can do a ground pound. Number 10. Nintendo had a lot of nutty ideas for this game, because they had to impress the 2D Mario crowd. I mean, most of them own games like Super Mario Maker, which gives them an infinite amount of 2D Mario fun. So yeah, this new title had to be very different compared to basically everything that came before. That's how we ended up with the wonder effects, but also the talking flower scene in the levels. Originally, they even wanted to add live commentary throughout all the levels, which I again covered in a cut content video, but in the end we just got the flowers, and they talk constantly. But then I saw this person in the comment section mention the following: the flowers have secret dialogue if you stand next to them for too long. But is this really true? Well, I again booted up the game and stood next to one for a while to see if anything would happen, and to my surprise they will ask you, "What's the matter? Are you tired or something?" after standing next to them for a bit. Now sure, this isn't the most meaningful dialogue, but it's something, and it shows that this person in the comments wasn't lying. Number 9. Lives are important. Without them, you can lose progress, which can lead to frustration, as well as wasted time. And so, in each 2D title, fans try to get their hands on as many as they can, which usually leads to the community going on a hunt. A hunt for the best way to farm 1-ups. And of course, players claim to have found some in Super Mario Bros. Wonder as well. And we will look at one. In the comments, 12 Little Lou explained how to farm infinite lives in the level Condarts Away, using a specific spot and a Koopa Troopa shell. And so I went to this level and tried to pull this trick off to see if it's real. And I can already tell you, this works incredibly well. All you need to do is go past this checkpoint, take out this Condart enemy so it doesn't mess up the brick blocks below, and then you can set everything up. You need to get rid of some blocks, and then you grab that shell and place it by throwing the thing up. At that point, you can just jump on it, and then you will automatically, without really doing anything, farm infinite lives really fast. So yeah, this claim is true, and also worth its weight in gold. Number 8. One of the best new features in the game has to be the badge system. These give you little power-ups that can be switched out whenever, a bit like perks from other games like Call of Duty. These will make some levels easier, allow you to explore different parts of the level, and can even be used for speedrunning. Heck, I have even seen people kind of break the game with these badges, and according to a viewer, the parachute cap can also do this. Well, sort of. This user said that you can keep your speed with the parachute cap if you keep opening and closing it. So I gave it a shot, and the badge challenge level is perfect for this. Now in the beginning, I didn't really see a difference. I was still losing height super fast. So does this even work? Well yeah, because when you compare it to the normal parachute cap glide, you can see I was losing height much faster and was slowing down rapidly as well. So yeah, spamming the parachute cap does do something, and it can even save you in some instances. But it isn't as good as I expected. Number 7. Now this next one is quite simple and also a bit pointless for many, but still I wanted to cover it since it was mentioned in the comments, so I will keep it brief. This person asked me, if you are doing multiplayer, can you get Mario to use the fire or bubble flower while riding Yoshi? Well, I hadn't necessarily tried this, but I expected it to work. However, I still gave it a shot with every power-up to see what would happen. Now as you can see, the fire and bubble flower worked well, and I could use them like normal. Even the elephant power-up worked, even though Yoshi was clearly struggling with the weight. And the drill, well, that doesn't really work like intended now, but that makes sense. So yeah, you can still use everything without a problem. Number 6. In all the Super Mario games, there are loads of little secrets and Easter eggs you can find, and especially Super Mario World was a fan of this. But of course, it's seen in Super Mario Bros. Wonder as well. Heck, Nintendo even focused on it more with this title. And one of my viewers mentioned a little secret in a level that I had seen as well, but never truly explored. So I had no idea if this person was telling the truth. Charlie said that in the level Rolling Ball Hall, just after the checkpoint, there's a hidden path left once you break 2 stone blocks, which can be done with the elephant power-up. And once you follow this alternate path, you will find some flowers who will tell you off for doing what you did. Now, I had seen these blocks before, but I never went that way, so I gave it a shot. Behind this block is a pit, and if you jump down, you will see flowers and metallic flower statues. Now, this place looks important, but we know nothing about it. However, this does show that the claim is true, but in the end, there's no cool reward down here. Number 5. There's a small little detail you 100% missed in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and it's all about sound design. When playing the game, you sometimes have to pause it. I mean, you have to grab a drink at some point after all, and when you do so, you will hear this sound. Now, most of you will think it sounds fun, but that's kind of it. However, there is more to it. Because someone in my comment section said that this sound is the exact same as the pause sound from the first Super Mario Bros. And so I compared the two since I hadn't noticed this when playing the game for the first time. And it's true. Just listen. Personally, I love it that Nintendo added this little Easter egg to the game. Number 4. One new enemy that I kind of love is the Out of My Way. It reminds me a lot of the bandit enemies from Yoshi's Island. They were also quite sneaky and could counterattack just like this new enemy, who kicks anything it comes into contact with, like ice blocks or Koopa Troopa shells. And so when you try to take them out by using a shell, you're in for a nasty surprise, because the thing will come back at you. The Out of My Way isn't that dumb, but I wondered if you could trick them by throwing the shell while their back is turned. So I tried it out, but as you can see, they aren't fooled at all, and will actually turn around fast enough and kick it back. Now, I expected that this could work, but I was clearly mistaken. These buggers have some crazy reflexes. Number 3. One thing that hasn't really changed about the 2D Super Mario games is the way they end. Back in 1985, when the first game came out, Nintendo added the classic flagpole as a way to end the level, together with a little building that Mario enters. And this was seen in basically every game. The only thing that kind of changed is that there is a toad sometimes as well. And in the new title, we once again see all of this. But now there's a poplin at the end instead of a toad. But did you know that there's actually a fun little Easter egg at the end of each level in Super Mario Bros. Wonder if you do one specific thing? It's a bit silly, but according to this commenter named Randy, it works. And all you need is the new elephant power-up together with some water. When going through the level, you will come across water sources that can be used to revive plants or just to farm some coins if you water the ground. But you can also keep this water in your trunk while going through the whole level, and if you do this, you will see something fun at the end. The water will be used to water the poplin at the flagpole, which makes its head flower open and creates a rainbow. But that's kind of it. As far as I know, you don't get any reward for it. This is nothing more than an Easter egg. Number 2. Hoppos are weird. Just look at these things. They are like inflated hippos that act like trampolines in the game. But I will say they are surprisingly tough, which we learned in the last video as well. But now we are back to do some fun testing with them again. Because Mike Boss 1000 asked me if a Hoppo will pop like a balloon if you ground pound on them using the new drill power-up, which is a good suggestion. Mario can drill through freaking rock with this, so what happens to a Hoppo? Well, I gave it a shot, because I had no idea whether this would work at all. And after testing it, I can say, it does nothing. Sure, the Hoppo doesn't like it, but he can handle it. Which shows that the skin of a Hoppo is made out of something harder than rock, which is pretty nuts. So yeah, this claim is false. This enemy is clearly tougher than most of us expected. Number 1. Now, a couple of games ago, Nintendo introduced the idea that you can save power-ups for later use, which is in my opinion an amazing addition to the games, especially now that they added the KO arenas in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. But now in the new title, for the first time as far as I know, these saved power-ups show up in balloons. And one of my viewers wondered after the last video if the enemy known as the condart, which is a bird that flies at you with its pointy beak, can pop this power-up balloon, which could lead to the item being destroyed or something like that. So I tested it, but as you can see right here, nothing happened. The condart went through the balloon multiple times and it was fine. So clearly this doesn't work, but it was a good suggestion. Also, Waluigi Robotnik, thanks for commenting on so many videos and sticking around. I appreciate it. Now those were all the myths I wanted to cover, but be sure to leave yours in the comments below to get featured in a video. And don't forget, be sure to check out part 1, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It helps a lot and more content is on the way.